Alright folks, we're baking some bread today. Basically I took what's called a real easy bread recipe. See if I can get this to focus in on it. That I found online. Hopefully you'll be able to read that. And I'll scroll down. So I've got it all mixed up. There was my mixing bowl. Here's the dough as it sits. I've got a pastry cloth. This is going to go over the top. What that'll do then is it'll come over here and it'll sit on this back burner where the heat escapes out of our particular range. I did turn on the oven itself just to a warm setting. So I'm going to set that over this burner here where the heat tends to come out of it. And we're just going to let that rise for an hour. And then we'll be back. Okay guys, now we got the oven all set up. It's ready to go. This is a little thermostat that we put on the inside of the oven. Because I don't really trust the outside thermostat on that. As you can see now we've got a nice fire going over there to the left in the fire pit. We're going to use this grate that you see in the foreground of the bench there. We're going to put that up over top of the fire once we get a nice good hot bed of coals. Alright guys, we put the Coleman camp stove on that grate. It's sitting over the fire. Now what we're trying to do is preheat up to about 350, 375 degrees. Hopefully that'll take care of it. That's what it calls for to be able to bake the bread. So we're going to get that going. Hopefully the wind will die down just a little bit because it's blowing some ashes, but hopefully not too many of those are going up inside. We'll check back here in about 10-15 minutes, see what the temperature is, decide whether if we need to kick the fire down or if we need to add a few more smaller pieces to it just to keep the heat up. When we get to that point, we'll open the door, we'll check that thermostat on the inside, and we'll go from there. Stay with me. Okay guys, there's the halibut bush tool, and there's our baton that we made yesterday. Well, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some cherry wood that I got from a guy last year, and I'm going to go ahead and knock down a few pieces just so that we can put them into the fire if we need to stabilize the temperature while we bake our bread. Currently, looks like our oven's up to about 225 degrees, but with the wind blowing and such, I want to make sure there's plenty of fuel for the fire. So let's baton a few pieces and see how my new club works. Nice piece of cherry. Makes pretty short work of that. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Let's go one more. Once again, the halibut bush tool and my nifty oak club that I made yesterday doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Stay with me and we'll check on that oven, we'll check on our bread, and hopefully before long here we'll be able to put it in, start the cooking process. Well, the oven's been over top of the coals now for a few minutes. See if we can get a temperature reading on that here. Hopefully you guys will be able to read that. It's coming up, it's about 300 right in there. The one inside, it's already showing us up to about 350. So I think we're looking pretty good. Like I said, there's always a discrepancy between the interior temperature and what this little gauge on the outside shows. So it looks like it's about 50 degrees at this point. I'll probably put a couple more sticks down underneath. That way we can maintain that heat down here into this fire. Because I've got about 15 more minutes before we're ready to put the bread in. So I'm going to put a couple more logs on there, just some small stuff that we just chopped up. We'll keep the heat going. We'll get this thing ready to go. Stay with me. Okay, kids, here's my bread. Scored a few lines across the top as is recommended. We're going to take this, we're going to open it up. It's a little less than 350 in here. So we're going to probably have to do a little bit of stoking just to see. I'm going to slide that. I'll put that back in right after we're done. I can do this without burning my hands. Okay, so setting right on top of that stone. We're going to center that stone. We'll put our little thermostat back in here. We'll have to build the coals up a little bit. Got her locked down. It is about 244. Let's check with the phone. It is 1447, and we're going to have to cook this for about an hour. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to kick up a few coals underneath here. Got some sitting on the outside that we can put back up underneath here. Get this going nice and hot again. Okay, kids, it's been about an hour and a half. I had to let this go a little bit longer than planned just because the wood would burn down. I'd get distracted, do some other things, come back. Had to make sure that it stayed that way, stayed good and toasty. In fact, currently the oven's sitting at about, if you can see that or not, right about 275. But I kind of was letting it cool off just a little bit too. See if we can pull this out. Oh, and there we have basically artisan bread. A little bit of ash on top, but I don't think that's going to hurt anything too much. Feels pretty good. Got a nice crust on the outside. Now we'll take it inside, we'll let it cool off, and when our friends come over tonight, we're going to have some fresh baked bread. All right, YouTube. This is the culmination of all of the effort today. We're going to slice this open. It would appear as though it has turned out very nicely. So we're going to slice off a couple of pieces. We've got some friends over for dinner this evening. And we are going to give this a whirl. See what it tastes like. As I mentioned earlier, this is a honey cinnamon bread. Bottom's a little tough, but that's what happens when you cook it in the outdoor oven on that big stone. So now we're going to take these, we'll slice these in half, we'll give everybody a taste, and we'll see how it turns out. So give us a few minutes, we'll get this buttered up, we'll taste it, and then we'll let you know how it turned out. Stay with me. Alright guys, we've buttered up a few pieces of bread. We're going to hand them out to the guinea pigs here. That way everybody gets a chance to try this to see how it turned out today.
Oh my God, this smells good.
Oh my God,
This smells really good.
Wonderful. Cinnamon. Very good.
That's my cinnamon honey bread.
It is
Cooked
really good.
in my Coleman oven over an open fire this afternoon. And I gotta tell you, that has turned out very nicely.
I don't even like bread. That's good.
Good liar.
Oh,
Oh my God, it's wonderful
it's not
too.
breakfast.
Really?
You guys like that?
Cheers. Cheers.
There it goes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Tink.
Cheers, cheers.
Well done.
See, it's amazing what you can do if you just take a few minutes, sit down, get out in the backyard, try these different things. It works out beautifully. Not everything works every time, but this was definitely wonderful.
Oh, Tim, this.
Nice vehicle for butter.
Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.